Full of vexation come I, against my child, my daughter Hermia. Stand forth, Demetrius. My noble lord, this man hath the consent to marry her. Stand forth, Lysander. And my gracious duke, this man hath bewitched the bosom of my child. Thou, Lysander, thou hast given her rhymes and interchanged love tokens with my child. Thou hast moonlight at her window sung, with feigning voice versus a feigning love, and stolen the impression of her fantasy, with bracelets of thy hair, rings, gauds, conceits, knacks, trifles, nosegays, sweetmeats, messengers, of strong prevailment with unhardened youth. With cunning hast thou filched my daughter's heart, turned her obedience, which is due to me, to stubborn harshness. And my gracious duke, be it so she will not here before your grace consent to marry with Demetrius. I beg the ancient privilege of Athens, and she is mine. I may dispose of her, which shall either to this gentleman or to her death, according to our law, immediately provided in that case.
What say you, Hermia? Be advised, fair maid. To you your father should be as a god, one that composed your beauties, yet in one, to whom you are but as form in wax, by him imprinted and within his power to leave the figure or disfigure it. Demetrius is a worthily gentleman.
So is Lysander.
In himself he is, but in this kind wanting your father's voice, the other must be held the worthier.
I would my father's looked, but with my eyes.
Rather your eyes be his judgment book.
I do not entreat your grace to pardon me. I know not by what power I am made bold, nor how I may concern my modesty. In such a presence have held here to plead my thoughts, but I beseech your grace that I may know the worst that may befall me in this case, if I rather refuse to wed Demetrius.
Either to die or to abjure for ever the society of men. Therefore, fair Hermia, question your desires. Know of your youth, examine well your blood, whether if you yield not to your father's source, you can endure the library of a nun. For I to be shady, cloistered me out, to live barren, sister, all of your life, chanting faint hymns to cold, fruitless moon. Thrice blessed they that mastered so their blood, to undergo such maiden pilgrimage, but to earthier happy is the rose distilled, that the witch withering on the virgin thorn grows leaves and dies in single blessedness.
So will I grow, so live, so die, my lord, ere I yield my virgin pattern up upon his lordship, whose unwished yoke my soul consents to not to give sovereignty.
Take time to pause, and by the next new moon, the sealing day, be twixt my love and me for everlasting bond of fellowship. Upon that day, either prepare to die or forbid disobedience to your father's will, or else to wed Demetrius as he would.
I played the role of Eugeus in Act 1 Scene 1 of Midsummer Night's Dream, and I believe that the section that I did reflected the third essential question, his responsibility to his family. There were parts in this section that includes turn to obedience, which is due to me, and also I beg the ancient privilege of Athens. As she is mine, I may dispose of her. What he's saying in this section is basically that he has full control over his daughter, which he believes is his responsibility to his family, his duty to keep his family in his check, in his line, in his control. And that is what he believes to be his responsibility to his family.
I played Hermia, and the essential question I feel like it showed was the second one about responsibility to the self. And even with the challenges that Hermia faced, with like her father saying he would either kill her or send her to become a nun, she still felt the responsibility to herself was to go after Lysander.